Alrighty. There we go. All right. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Welcome. If you don't know who I am, my name is RJ. Today we are going to be talking about all things metaphysical as usual. It's a couple things I do want to kind of cover and get some feedback on. As everybody's going through their journey, I want to talk about, some of the, deepest insights of what push you, to the next level in your spiritual journey. There's all types of information out there. Everybody's at different levels. Everybody has their own perspective on the same things. And I want to kind of dive deep and to get some different perspectives from some of you. Um, my personal journey, especially lately, one of the things that's been at the forefront of my awareness is seeing the polarity of things, right? And the duality of things, and understanding that the duality of things is necessary. Everything that exists is both positive and negative. There's nothing that you will ever engage in that has 100% just positive effects and has no negative thing attached to it. And this is a whole vibrational scale. Anything outside of unified consciousness with the creator, or, the most high, the Akasha, infinity, nirvana, whatever you would like to call it. Anything outside of that, there is dual. It's both, positive and negative. Um, so that's something that's been at the forefront of my awareness lately, and appreciating, some of the negative aspects that we have been through, because that's what makes us who we are. That's what brings us to the positive side most of the time. On the other side, we can dive super duper deep into some things that have really, really profound positive effects, and just be completely blinded and not be able to see the negative effects of what we're doing, right? Or what we're engaging in, the practices we're doing, the things that we're tuning ourselves into. And this is important to be able to identify what those things are, because it's a part of everything. Too much water can unalive you, right? Too much sun can do the same thing. But these are things that are part of creation that, that also nourish and sustain life as well. And this applies to everything across the board. So being able to recognize the negative aspects is very, very, very important. What up, say? So what's group seven? Listen, I've been on TikTok way too much this week. um, so this is one of the things this is why I named it this too. On YouTube, it's not named the same thing, because I'm also streaming on there too. But there's this viral thing going on, right? Some random creator, started, posting videos and saying, "Oh, if you're seeing this, you're group one, or you're group two, you're group seven," right? And then it just went viral, and everybody's, making videos about how, "Oh, I'm group seven, and this is just for group seven. My wife doesn't know, that she's not in group seven," and that whole thing. And I made that the title for several different reasons. One, to show how, you know, the water element aspect of people wanting to belong to something, right? When we talk about things going viral and virality, right? People want to belong to something, and they don't care if they know what it means or not, because it don't mean nothing. It means nothing whatsoever. But there's all these people that's attaching to this concept, this idea, right? And just playing along with it because it makes them part of a tribe or a group. It's something they can identify and be a part of. And, you know, on a subconscious level, this is what we strive to do. Even if you're unaware of it, even the people that swear up and down, "I'm not playing the status game. I'm not trying to, I'm not this, I'm not A, I'm not B," but you are in a group, in some type of tribe. You're the identity that you're attaching to is, "I'm none of it." And that's a group. That's an identity. That's your group seven. Right? So, looking at how, we function and how we attach to different concepts, ideas, consciously and subconsciously, and how it affects our karma and just our reality, and how it branches out into society, into humanity is really interesting. It's really, really interesting because, once again, this lady, she just talking, and everybody on the internet talk about, oh, my wife don't know that, I'm group seven. She must not be in group, and it's all this. So that's what it is. um, anyway, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy, Anyway, other than that, how are y'all doing? What up, Jaywalk and say, I'm having a very, very interesting day. It's actually been semi-productive. I spent a little bit of the day playing video games. That was cool, you know. But it's been a really, really beautiful day, and I just wanted to get on here and have some conversations with everybody, and see where everybody's at, in the journey, and just see where we can take it from there. This is here for the giggles, dude. I got all the giggles right now. um, it's just really interesting. So, um, to get to like some of my realizations, right? So we're doing some stuff in one of in my Kabbalah class, right? And we're doing like some of the two-letter formulas, and balance the yin yang aspect, to everything. You know, this is something that I want to discuss. I'm probably going to make a video about it because it's so deep, and you can see this perspective of it in many different aspects of society, right? So when I talk about the balance of energies and the positive and negative effects of things, the way that we mitigate and have to make changes within our own psychology and within our energy, I relate it to when we look at capitalism, right? When we look at like the food supply, where we'll have a thing, right? So we'll do like livestock, right? So we have cows, right? So we have cows, we got a bunch of cows, and we're raising all this livestock, right? And because we have all this livestock, what up, Ava? Watch me on YouTube. That's what's up. I'm also on the Talk app too. um, so right, we got all these livestock, and we need to sell this livestock. We need to, butcher it, do everything we need to do. But because we have so many of them in one space, well, now they're catching diseases and stuff. Okay, cool. Well, now we have to give them, steroids to stop them from having diseases. Okay, cool. We give them steroids. Oh no, now the steroids are causing this, other effect. Now, because we're giving them steroids and it's causing, this other effect, and then now they're like, peeing green or something like that. Now we got to figure out something else to stop them from peeing green. And then if it gets into the people, we have to do something else. But everything that we encounter, right, has that type of effect. Every energy, every practice we do, as we evolve and grow, we change our perspective, and the different energies, different people, different environments, all these different things that we engage in, it changes our relationship to certain other things. It may not be everything, but it's this balance that has to happen within your energy, within your psyche, within your awareness. Um, and this is something that's not really talked about a lot. And one thing that I've been, more and more aware of over the past couple months is like this, seeing the ungroundedness that can come from not being able to identify and listen to when that's happening. I say listen in a Tai Chi term, as opposed to a video about listening energy, but paying attention to your attachments, your aversions, right? How certain energies and stuff is affecting your mind, certain practices, certain substances, especially all the spiritual people out here, like a lot of them are doing all types of stuff, right? And it it matters. It affects you, right? For some people, they can do some things, and it has amazing, great effects. And for other people, it can have the opposite effect, right? So being able to look at it and to identify it and then make those changes to adjust to the ways that work for you. And it's important, for me in my personal experience. I'm gonna get to your question too, say, in a little bit, you know um like in my personal experience, there's sometimes I'll do certain practices. I teach, so I'm always doing all types of mystical, magical things, and I'm always, out in the mountains and waterfalls and doing my qigong and invocations and everything else. So my field of consciousness is constantly changing, like in deeply profound ways. My image of not just myself, of my reality, of the world, of people, the way I relate to different things is constantly changing. If I'm not aware of it, then certain things start to come up. If I'm doing like a lot of fire element practices and stuff like that, I find myself being more, in more debates with people, and just playing devil's advocate and just to do it, and this is kind of, this fire element of testing people that starts to come up, right? Or even being just snappy, and these type of things come up. If I'm doing more water element types of practices, I find myself being more, sensitive to energies and maybe a little more compassionate in some ways, but also, it could be negative things that come up. I can be overly sensitive to other people's insecurities and stuff and start to kind of take on theirs if I'm not guarded, right? So these things happen. These things happen if you're not aware of these changes in your psyche, in your habits, in just your everyday life. Then you'll start taking on all this different stuff, and before you know it, you're expressing all these things that could be mitigated, that may not be working in your favor, right? And it's all these things that it's important to recognize and try to bring balance into, and it's important that you're able to see that and do that. What up, Laura? So thank you. That explains so much. We can get deep. I can give you practices to get rid of it, to balance it, it gets really, really deep. Like super duper deep you know and let me know how you feel about this. How have you seen this in your experience? For those of you just joining, hi, my name's RJ. I teach hermetic alchemy, hermetic magic, self-mastery practices, psychic development, how to train your clairvoyance, clairaudience, mental transference, clairsentience, how to leave your body, how to enter into different realms, how to do, how to ascend, and how to train your intuition, how to become your own teacher. And it's beautiful. So welcome. Hi. If this is your first time with me, let me know in the comments. Let me know where you're from. Say what's up. Hit the follow button. If you're stalking from the other side of the chat and you haven't clicked in yet, don't be scared. Come in and say hi. Uh, um, so I do a lot of water because I live on the ocean. Listen, I love, love, love water element. I am primarily water. Actually, it's like kind of like an equal balance between air, water, and earth. I have my fire, but my fire is like on the back burner for like a lot of stuff. But water and air, most definitely. When you live close to an ocean, the water element of the ocean, it's highly magnetic, right? It's really, really magnetic. It's vastly different. What a Bullfrog 74. It's She's like, yeah, very emotional and take on energies at work, and I work at a hospital, and over time it takes me physically. So you got to guard against it. You have to guard against it because once again, the ocean energies is super magnetic, right? You draw stuff in, you become, really tapped into your astral emotional body and become magnetic. So it's important for you to demagnetize at the end of every night, right? When you connect to the water, even when you go to the ocean, right? Then if you're within the like a mile and a half, almost 2 miles, like right near the ocean, then you don't even have to go up to the shore. You can just connect to the ocean and put your mind in the ocean. Always reflect that you are a student on the path, right? And invite the frequency and the consciousness of the water element within the ocean to demagnetize all the BS that you then took on throughout the day, all the stuff that's not yours. Because once again, we take on all this stuff from our environment. If you don't have a healthy level of protection, and you haven't developed a way to guard the gates and the things that come into your consciousness, it's very easy to take on other people's stuff, especially being in the hospital, because it's such a emotional place to be. And there's so much trauma and a lot of water element stuff going on. So you have to be guarded in some way, whether it's this psychological blocks up, like I got these walls up and I'm not letting anybody in, which may serve you, completely. It may hamper on your level of compassion that you have, right? But that might be a necessary thing. I know for me personally, in order for me to make it through a lot of my experiences and my connections with people as a child and as a young adult, I had indestructible walls up and ain't nothing getting in. But once again, we're talking about the duality of things, that served me back then, but also it stopped me from understanding my emotions, right? And it stopped me from really being able to connect to people because those walls were up. Which you're in the hospital, that may be necessary. May be very necessary for you not to get overly attached to people, right? Because it's your job, right? And that may serve you. Put the walls up, put the blocks up, right? Um, Says I have AM rituals, but if I slip and miss, it's rough. So AM and PM rituals, at night, demagnetizing, literally going through and backtracking throughout the day and go having a ritual where you're releasing all the things that came up throughout the day. And this is something that everybody should do because we experience so much, and if we're not aware of it, we start taking on all these different energies. You could have gotten like it might not even be an argument. You and your partner could have just said something. They might have said something that like stuck with you for a second, and he was like, "Oh, what does that mean?" Right? And it just gets stuck, and you might just brush it off. And then later on that night, because you didn't really demagnetize it and release it, it's there in your subconscious mind. You go to sleep, boom, it's there. It kind of get reinforced in your subconscious. So one of the most powerful ways that you can demagnetize. What up, Daghead? How you doing? One of the most powerful ways to demagnetize is with the water element. One of the first things I typically teach in the course is developing your relationship with the water element. And first thing in the morning, last thing at night, shower, bathe, connect to the element of water, allow the water to run over your hands, right? And you can put a prayer into the consciousness of the water for the water element to purify you mentally, purify your mental body, for it to purify your astral body, your soul, for it to purify your physical body. Oh, thank you. It had a 12 on the cake. I have no idea why, but thank you. But going through these steps, and connecting with the consciousness of the water element is deeply profound. Building that ritual, it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger to the point where you don't even have to go through the whole ritual. Anytime you touch water, it will begin to demagnetize and begin to release anything that's stuck to you that's not yours, anything that you didn't invite into your field of consciousness. And it's super powerful. When I shower, or even when I wash my hands, it's almost like I'm trying to not to get censored on on here. They already got me capped at how many people can come in here. I'm trying to watch my words very, very closely. It's almost ecstatic when I touch water now. When I'm in the shower, but I can feel anything that's stuck to me in my mental field and my astral field and my physical body. I can literally feel it start to dissolve and demagnetize. Even sometimes I can feel it going through my body and washing down through the drain. And it's powerful. It's really powerful. Do it every time you touch water and watch how, deep of a profound effect it begins to have on your experience. It's super cool. too. And once again, your relationship to water will begin to change. You'll find yourself, even, drinking less water, and getting more hydrated and being able to absorb more. And even your ability to be more magnetic begins to change too, because you're developing a deeper relationship with the consciousness of water. And it'll be a relationship of sacredness and a release. And it's really, really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And you can apply the same concept and idea to all the elements. When you start changing your relationship to different things, then, that's what begins to happen. And everything is living conscious energy. Everything has a spirit. There's nothing in creation that does not have a spirit. Everything, and the way I like to conceptualize it and share it is, you can look at, we won't even go all the way down to photons, but we're going to start with, your body, right? Your body has bacteria, right? It has organs, it has all these different layers of consciousness, and every layer of you has its own consciousness. You don't have to tell the bacteria that literally makes you who you are. It makes up who and what you are, along with the cells and everything else, your microbiome, your gut bacteria, every part of you is conscious. Every individual part of you is living conscious energy. All of creation is the same. Now, that consciousness may not be able to express itself in the same way. It cannot formulate words and think and project certain things into the universe like you can, right? But it still is living conscious energy. It has a job, it has a life, it has a thing that it does, and everything functions in that way. And the more you can see this, the more you start building these relationships with all these different levels of consciousness. So in Hermetics, right? Hermetics is understanding the spiritual hierarchy, right? If everything has a spirit, well, there's a hierarchy within, the consciousness of creation. You can think of God being, the consciousness of creation itself, infinite intelligence, the universal mind. It's the mind and intelligence of everything that is, and nothing is outside of that. In the same way that the bacteria on your skin, in your body, makes up you, right? You are that bacteria. That bacteria is also you. It's a literal same thing when it comes to your relationship to, you can say the Most High, God, infinite intelligence, whatever your relationship to what God is. And I don't even like using the term God because everybody's relationship to God and religious trauma and everything else, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So once again, when you start looking at different aspects of your life, well, what's your relationship to, the spirit of this, the spirit of that? If you're a photographer, you got a good relationship with the spirit of your camera, you're in tune, you got it. You understand the spirit of the camera, right? Everything has a spirit. And if you're clairvoyant, you can see it. I remember being in Sedona, and I'm not talking about the mountains and stuff, because everybody know you can see the spirits in the mountains. There's books about it. Everybody go there can see it. Even people that are not spiritual, you can see it. But I remember going there. It was my very first time, and it was me, Milo, Abe, and Josh, and we're at our Airbnb, and I look up at Abe. First off, I got my tarot cards. I'm looking. I'm like, bro, I can see the spirit of the tarot card. And I looked up. I was like, I can also see the spirit of the kitchen. And he was like, I can't too. So it's levels to it, but depending on your own relationship to your environment, to whatever it is that you're engaging in, understand that it holds consciousness as well, whatever it is, whatever it is. And you can develop a relationship to anything so it can work in your favor always, So understanding that, and then that your relationship with whatever it may be, whoever it may be, is your relationship. It's not somebody else's relationship. Other people have relationships to things that are unhealthy, right? And even if they have a healthy relationship with it, their relationship, the one that they have with that thing could be damaging to you. So it's important for you to look at the relationships that you have to different things. different aspects of creation, different things that you engage in, different people. Because even when it comes to people, your best friend can have a negative relationship with somebody, right? And you can meet that person and think, this is the coolest person I've never seen in my life. But if you take on somebody else's relationship, then you take their karma and their relationship, and then you form an identity of, not just within yourself, but an identity of that thing or that person that may not be real. It's just that person's own personal relationship to it, right? So it's important to understand that and look at that and formulate your own relationship with different things. We often talk about the relationship with money, right? It's people with horrible relationships with money, like, and they think that literally I gotta work really, really hard to get this, or that their job is their only source of income, right? This is the only way that it could ever come is if I do this one thing right here. And if I'm not there, I'm going to lose it all. And they have that made up in their mind, right? And in Kabbalah, they say that's idolatry. That is idolatry. How dare you say that your abundance is only coming from your job? That is the god of money to you, is your job. There's no other way in which you can receive abundance other than this job thing that you attune yourself to, right? Other than the creator and being open to your abundance, and then whatever else you wish to receive, right, can come from anywhere in the universe, from any direction, right? So which relationship do you want to have? Do you want to have it like, oh, I'm stuck right here in a place I don't really like, around these people I don't like, and I gotta be here and work really hard for it because that's just the way it is? Or, well, my relationship to it is I know that, I'm taking advantage of my divine abundance, and that, my abundance comes from the creator. I am creating the vessel in which so I can receive abundance from any direction. And when it's time for me to act upon something, I'm going to act upon it. When it's time for me to receive, I'm going to receive. When it's time for me to be of service, I'm going to be of service. And it can come from any direction in ways that are even unknown to me. What relationship do you want to have, right? What relationship do you want to have? It's important, right? Now, expanding your consciousness and your relationship to different things and exploring what those relationships could be pays dividends, right? Like I say, there are known knowns, there are known unknowns, and there are unknown unknowns. Right? We want to explore that. We want to know some of the unknowns. We want to know some of the unknown unknowns so we can begin to build a deeper relationship and to expand our awareness on the things that we engage in, right? Because there could be much higher ways of being and relating to different things. And I'm using this in a very universal way. This can apply to anything. It would apply to your relationship. Think of parenting. Neither one of my parents raised me. When I had kids, like I can look back at, well, in my family, this is how my aunties and my uncles raised their kids, and how I see my friends been raised and stuff like that. When I had kids, I read books. I read books. Oh, yeah. This is different ways that you could teach, and with different ways to relate, and different ways to learn emotional intelligence and how to relate to your kids. Because, you don't want to confine yourself to, oh, this is just how, this is it. This is what I just think it is. And I'm just going to do this. And that's how most people live their life. Hello. Is that a fairy? I don't even know what to call you. Hello, fairy emoji lady. Hi, how are you? Let me know how you feel about this. Let me know how you feel about this, because once again, it's important. This is one of the most important things, is to be able to look at your relationship to different things, not just yourself, but also people around you, the things that you attach yourself to, the identities around you, the energies that you allow in your field of consciousness, the people that you associate yourself with, right? These all matter. As opposed to video talk about, we have mirror neurons. you know, people that you're close to, environments that you're in, you take on those energies. You take on the subconscious transmission of habits, of tendencies, even if it's unspoken, you start taking on people's stuff, right? One of the biggest things that I teach in my psychic development classes is, when you get to the state where you expand your consciousness into the space around you, you become sensitive to, oh, this is mine. Yeah, that's not mine, right? From thoughts to habits, right, to urges, to all these different things that's within your field of consciousness, right? And most people just take on what's there and be like, oh, I feel like I got a headache. Do you have a headache? Or is that headache, did somebody leave that there? Or is it the other person on the other side of the room? Is it yours? Hmm. Hey, I remember I remember going to my friend Justin. I've known Justin since like '04, right? And I consider him my brother, and him and his wife had separated. So I flew to Kentucky, to help him out because they've been together since they were like teenagers. So, I flew there to, make sure he was in a good space and stuff. And he got teenage boys. So it was him and three teenage boys in the house, the mom gone. And I just remember being there like the third day. I'm sitting there, and it was the I don't even know how to describe the energy, but all the teenage boy corn energy. I can just feel it. Like what is this? Yo, I'm not used to that, right? But it's there. It's there, and it was very strong, but it may not have to be that strong. It's other things that come up. You'll be sitting there, and somebody really wants some cake, or they really have a coffee addiction or whatever it is, and if you're not guarded, you start taking these things on, especially if you have an affinity for that person. If you love that person, if you're open to that person, if part of your heart space at all, you don't have to be completely open and vulnerable, but if it's any part of you that is open to hearing them, to allowing, any of their energy in, then you start taking on their stuff. And it's important for you to be guarded and to recognize what that stuff is, because if you don't know yourself, you're going to start taking on their positive and their negatives, and your subconscious doesn't care which one, because you may be in resonance with some of their negative stuff, and that stuff may come up first. You might even dismiss all the positive stuff because you may not be completely in resonance with it. So guard the gates. Guard the gates of your consciousness. So how y'all feel about this? And welcome to everybody that's joining. Hi, if you're new here, make sure you hit the follow button. My name is RJ. I teach hermetic alchemy, hermetic magic, psychic development, how to train your clairvoyance, clairaudience, mental transference, clairsentience, how to put your mind in different realms and spaces and objects and frequencies and all the alls, and how to train your intuition. And it's a really, really beautiful, blessing to be able to, have this platform, to have a community. I teach courses. I teach courses on this, and I've been teaching for years now. We have a app, right, with video libraries. There's hundreds of videos. I do weekly group Zoom meetings on Saturdays at 9 a.m. and it's powerful. Right now, everybody's signing up for the Master Key Psychic Ascension program, and it's 50% off. You can check it out in the link in my bio. Trying to watch the algorithm. That information is on there. Also do in-person workshops and retreats and spiritual tours. We just finished up one in Sedona a couple weeks ago. We did the magical invocation workshop, and then we did the hermetic teacher training too, back to back in Sedona. The next thing that we have coming up is in May. We're going to be in Sri Lanka for Vesak or Sagadawa. It's a Buddhist holiday, and this Buddhist holiday is very special because they recognize the power of that lunar month. It's the fourth lunar month. Um, and the full moon of that month is the same full moon that Siddhartha Gautama Buddha or Shakyamuni Buddha was born. It's the same full moon in which he attained enlightenment. It's the same full moon in which he passed. And during that time, anything that you focus on, any practices you do, any habits that you form, any actions that you take, that karma and the merit of the karma that you generate gets multiplied many times over. So it's a cosmic synchronicity. And you can use this time for, really, really powerful things. In Buddhist countries, right? In Tibet, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, and in Japan, during that time, they take it as a time to be more charitable, to do their practices and to, to give, because that karma, it comes back many times over. It's multiplied by magnitudes. So they recognize that. For me, for the past few years with my students, we use this time to get together to practice. And we go to super powerful places like Sedona, Sri Lanka. Earlier this year, we went through California. So we started in LA and went to some of the temples and stuff there. We went into the Sequoias and did our practices. We went to Mount Shasta and did our practices. We stayed there for a couple days. We went to the Redwoods and we went to several other places too, and really took advantage of the cosmic synchronicity. We took advantage of the amplification of practitioners getting together to do our practices and to alchemize, the things that we wanted to alchemize together. So super powerful. So this next time we're going to be in Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka is such an amazing, beautiful, powerful place. I have such a deep love and affinity for Sri Lanka. I spent most of this year living in Sri Lanka and exploring the island. Is super powerful. I'm grateful because I've been able to see places of the island that most people never get to see. And even the people that live there. I haven't talked to anybody that lives in Sri Lanka that has seen more of Sri Lanka than I've had the blessing to be able to see. And I mean, not people in the government, not, entrepreneurs and people with mansions and that have been all over the world for several reasons. So I have a deep respect for it. And it's such a powerful, powerful place. So in May, we're going to be there. So if you're interested in coming along, you can check out the link in my bio. And the information's on there. You can message me if you have any questions or anything. If you sign up for any of the in-person workshops and retreats, the course is included with it as well. So just sharing that information. Other than that, shout out to everybody that's in here on YT and on TikTok. Hi. Once again, my name is RJ. I been teaching hermetic alchemy and magic and self mastery practices for several years now. I've had about 1,000 plus students, and it's been a very, very beautiful journey. And it's my path of service to be able to give insight and different perspectives to help, you gain that different perspective and in whichever way possible. Even if you're not a student, if you're just a follower, if you just, like to ponder on certain things, this is what this platform is for. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments on either platform. Other than that, how you guys doing? If you haven't hit the follow button, hit the follow button. We're gonna get a little deeper. What up, Lab Mom? Says love the peacock picture in the background. Thank you. um, I think Natalia got that. I don't know where it came from. I forgot. Everybody likes the stuff that Natalia gets because she'll buy me t-shirts and stuff. And I was designing t-shirts for a while, and I have them on. And every now and then, people will say something. Every time I wear something that Natalia buys me, like the whole comments is like, "Oh my God, that shirt is amazing! Where'd you get the shirt from? Where'd you get the shirt from? Where'd you get the shirt from?" So I think that's pretty cool. So I trust her taste. Um, Say says, how is it like at the Sequoia? So, all right, so one of the things when it comes to developing yourself, and this goes along with the whole Sri Lanka thing and going there for Sagadawa and practicing during the cosmic synchronicity. One thing that's really big to me and that has been a huge benefit to my personal practice and the way that I view the world is going to places of power. Now, place of power is exactly what it sounds like. If you go to Sedona, there's vortexes everywhere. It's this huge amplification of energy. It's a really powerful place. And even the natives recognized how sacred and powerful it was. So they would go there and do their ceremonies. Like the 7 different nations would come there and give birth and commune with each other because it's a place of power, and they recognize that. So we have these places of power all over the world. The sequoias is a place of power. The power in the sequoias is is like ancient wisdom. The sequoia trees, some of them are thousands of years old. They are living conscious beings that have lived through through millennia, literally, right? So being able to connect to, this ancient wisdom and this very, very powerful sacred place, just being there, it looks magical. It's a literal magical, powerful place. So being there and practicing, the type of wisdom that you're able to tap into, you can't really get too many other places. You literally cannot get in too many other places. I share a lot about Buddhism, right? And Hermetics and Buddhism go hand in hand because they're systems of understanding the spiritual hierarchy. They're systems of connecting to the consciousness and spirits of, whatever that system is through the whole vibrational scale. When Shakyamuni Buddha became enlightened, he was sitting up under the Bodhi tree, and he didn't do it. Shakyamuni Buddha, he didn't do it. The tree gave him the blessing. The tree saw him meditating there, sitting in stillness and equanimity. And the Bodhi tree looked at him and saw the potential that he had to change so many beings' lives, not just people, not just humans here in the physical, but to change the existence, throughout every realm. And the tree gave him the blessing of becoming, as far as we know, the first fully awakened human on this planet. And the tree gave him that. It's not something he did. And this is why the tree is worshipped almost more than he is. Yeah, you go many places and see that. Thank God for the follows too. And so when you go to the places like the sequoias and you connect to the consciousness and the wisdom of the trees there, the type of influence that it has on your psyche, on your mind, on your worldview, and the type of wisdom that you align yourself to is deeply profound. It's something that you really can't get anywhere else. Like the General Sherman tree is the largest tree by volume than any other tree in the entire world. All right. So being there and connecting to it, just sharing your life force with it and connecting to literally one of the largest living beings with the most life force that's been around for thousands of years and giving your blessing, right? You give your blessing to it and it will reflect its blessing back to you. And it's a deeply, deep, profound level of transmission and wisdom that comes from it. So the sequoias are like really, really amazing. So many different places in the sequoias. It's largely untouched. Even going to Kings Canyon, which is wilderness. It's like literally wilderness, like right there. And the sequoia forest is huge. It's way bigger than just the national park. It's funny because I'll be going into the Sequoia National Forest in the morning, going to the hot springs for sunrise. Have that experience, and it's super powerful. You know, so tree hugging is a real thing. Um, of course, it's a real thing. And they made it seem, through the media and everything else, and then coined the term like tree hugging and things like that to make it seem like, oh, these people are crazy or something like that. Like these are living beings. You can look at the science now that, people are like, are that are unaware, and people who are so rigid in their way of thinking and believe they're into, highly intellectuals, right? And they only follow, the system of academia, and they'll say, oh wow, science now just discovered that the trees are sentient. No, no crap. Really? Really? We've known this since the beginning of time. but there's some people that are just super rigid in their way of viewing the world and relating to different things that, they just think that, oh, a rock is just a rock. This tree is it's just wood and leaves, and then, that's it. As if it's not a living conscious being. And people that know, they know. People build relationships with their plants talk to them. Like literally, you can have whole conversations with your plants. They're living. Talk to them. I guarantee you they'll be greener and brighter and happier. Play them music and then watch what happens. Give your positive life force and energy to not just the trees, to everything, to literally everything. And once again, looking at your relationship to different things, everything has a spirit. Everything has a spirit. Everything about you is a spirit. Everything that about you, and I've been sharing this, like, pretty much every day that I'm on here. Everything about you is a level of consciousness. From the clothes you wear, you're giving life to the spirit of that. Whatever it is, everything about you is an expression of some spirit, some consciousness. Everything. If you like music, okay, cool. And you listen to a bunch of Lil Wayne, you're literally giving expression to the spirit of Lil Wayne. And when we talk about our relationship to time and space, one way that I love to, especially recently, is when we look at our relationship to time and space. These are two dimensions of creation that bring things into form. Time and space. When you allow anything to occupy your consciousness within time and space, you give life to it. You're literally giving time, awareness, right? You are allowing that thing to occupy your life force for X amount of time, and you're holding space for that thing, for it to manifest through your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, right? And this is how we give life to things. And when it comes to relating to different people in this way, if you are really self-centered and it's all about me, and that's it, right? Well, you're not holding space for anybody else. Your thoughts, feelings, actions, your karma, your whole reality is it's condensed and constricted into just me. Everything's about me. You don't feel nobody else's feelings. You don't care about anything else. You're not real connected to anything else. It's just you. And everything that you do is just for you. Your network is just you. Because you can't build a huge network because you're not holding space for anybody or anything else outside of you. So your karma, your reality, your destiny is tied to this really small space and time, right? You've never seen them write books about anybody that just did things for them. They don't do it. Never seen a statue for anybody that's ever done anything just for them. Everybody that you ever see that's talked about, that's pushed, that has done something worthwhile, has done it for the benefit of others because they hold space for those people, things, places, whatever their cause is. And then because they hold so much space and time for those things, then they can manifest through time and space through those things and people in which they are holding space for too. You can look at yourself and let me know if y'all with me. So just come through EK for sure. Let me know how y'all feel about this, right? So for instance, in my own personal journey, right here, right now, I'm speaking to you guys. And you guys are seeing me. I'm sharing the light of my mind and my consciousness. You're taking on that consciousness and that light. And because right now you're open and you're hearing me, you're holding space for me. You're allowing me to manifest through your consciousness, right? Now, my network and my consciousness is greater because you guys are holding time and space for me and my consciousness, right? Now, think about how deep and profound that is. If I was closed off and it was just me, I wouldn't have this network. I wouldn't have as many followers. I wouldn't have the ability to manifest so many things through the thoughts and hearts and feelings and actions of other people because I will not be able to manifest through time and space because I'm not connected to anybody else throughout time and space. You guys are holding time and space for me, right? So think about that. Think about that, right? And most people can't see it. Most people can't see the relationship to time and space because we have different relationships to time and space. And when we start doing energy exercises, so I teach a lot about Qigong and transforming energy. So you take it from a vital state, you can vital breathe with that life force energy, you can slow that energy down into an astral state. And just that act right there, it begins to change your relationship to time, right? Your normal consciousness, your mind substance begins to slow down to a different time continuum. So your relationship to time begins to shift. You begin to see your relationship to your emotions, your belief structures, to your astral body, your astral nature, right? You begin to see your karma, right? And your relationship really, really begins to change. Oh, thank you, Ray of Sunshine. um, and it's powerful, but it doesn't only just manifest in that one way of changing your relationship to time. Once again, you begin to see the karma and the stream of consciousness throughout time, backwards and forwards, right? The things that you do now and practice now affected the things that you already experienced, right? Especially if you're working on some high level magical stuff. The things you're working on now affect the things you did in the past, and vice versa. The things you're working on now also can change your karmic stream going on to the future. Now, when you have access to your astral body, boom, you can do that. And everybody has access to this to a level of, to a certain level, but their relationship to it matters. Have you ever done like constellation healing and things like that, where you'll go through, um, and connect to your ancestors and cuss your ancestors out like, nah, I ain't with that. Greetings, group 7. This ain't really group 7, this is for group everybody. But yeah. The constellation therapy, right? And you go back, and even going through your inner child, right? You can literally go back and heal your inner child, and all the love and caring and stuff that you send back astrally to little you felt that. That's what made you feel better when you were younger. Oh, let me pick myself up and go about my business, right? You felt that because the astral is not bound to the same law times as the law of time as the physical is. It's a different thing. But when you start changing your relationship to it and you can build energy on that level, you can change it going to the past and into the future. It's really, really powerful. Really powerful. So from there, when we're working with our life force and energy and we're working with our astral body, and then from there, you start changing your relationship with space. You start to expand that energy, right? You expand your consciousness and you change your relationship with space. Your consciousness is literally goes from being bound to your physical form, your physical body, to being able to expand beyond your physical body chemistry, right? Your spirit senses wake up and you begin to change your relationship, not just with time, but also with space, and your ability to look at things from different perspectives because your consciousness is now greater and in an expanded state, right? And what up, Natasha? How you doing? I remember the class we did on this. It was so powerful. Yeah, right. So when you begin to do this, you begin to recognize the karmic stream of things outside of time and space, because there's things that you do and focus on now. It's things in which you relate to now that you create these different karmic streams that affect you throughout time and space. You begin to recognize the importance of the things that you actually hold space for, right? Some things you hold space for is taking up the space, right, that's needed to manifest the things that you really want out of life, right? But if you're too preoccupied and most of your time is taken up by that thing in which that thing in which you hold so near and dear to you, right? And it may be something really stupid. It could be something really, really stupid. Your love for hot dogs, right? And you don't even eat hot dogs, but when you were 12, you just had this insane love for hot dogs and you're still holding on to it. You ain't let go of it. That can be stopping you from being more healthy. Literally. because you're still holding space for it. There's still a part of you that's attached to it, and little you is like, I can't wait till I get me some Nathans or even Oscar Myers or whatever else, and it's there. But when you start to go through the alchemical process of changing your relationship and transforming energy, some of these things begin to be revealed to you. You begin to understand your own, astral nature, your own astral body, your astral relationship to different things. And you begin to activate these higher, more expanded states of consciousness, right? And it's really, really beautiful. You know, if you want to like learn how to do all this, check out the link in my bio. Right now it's 50% off, and it's really, really powerful. We go step by step. How do you develop your spirit senses? How do you train your spirit? How do you develop your intuition so your intuition is always working for you, so you can literally begin to see outside of time and space and change your relationship to things, so you can literally begin to operate on a much higher level. Your quality of life begins to increase dramatically, and you literally begin to change your destiny. And a big part of being psychic is just seeing the obvious. Some things are just common sense, but it's not common sense to people because they can't see or understand the karmic stream in which they are creating for themselves. They're so stuck to a certain thing or emotional attachment or some superficial thing or some belief structure that they got from somebody else or something else that's not even real. And then they live their life believing that they're doing one thing. And, because their astral ego always wants to be right, right? Whatever you believe is true, you're going to see it as a truth. Whether it's a delusion or not, your ego will make sure that whatever you say is true, you see it as that. Right. So being able to, once again, go through the alchemical process and change your relationship with time and space, your spirit becomes greater, and you begin to see things from you know, much deeper level and a different perspective. And it's really, really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Um, so once again, thank everybody for joining. If you ain't hit the follow button yet, hit the follow button. I would love to have y'all along for the ride. And my name is RJ. If you don't know by now, um, I love to teach, all things metaphysical, psychic development, uh, hermetic alchemy and magic, and how to train your subconscious mind. And it's a really, really beautiful process. I often share that I'm a master teacher, and not in this like, oh, I'm holier than thou or at a high. I teach masters. I teach you to master yourself, right? But I can only get you so far. I can give you the practices, the theory, right, and some examples. You have to do the work yourself. And everything is designed for you to get the amount of benefit from it as you put in. There's some people that go into the course and they'll start it for a couple weeks and think they got it all and just stop. But there's levels to it. Everything that right here, right now. Hey, Arts Pipeline, how you doing? um, everything that right here, right now, it will change as you grow and evolve. Your understanding of it changes, what it means to you changes, and this is how all the higher spiritual knowledge functions. There's levels to it. And, the universe, the infinite mind of the universe is so perfect that it's designed for you to get what you need on each level. But the more that you seek to grow and evolve and to raise up into higher levels, that same concept, idea, proverb, saying, teaching, scripture, sutra, all the higher teachings, it means something different on every single level. And you can say it verbatim, you know, you can say it verbatim and it's going to mean something different to you. And, that's what spiritual growth is. It's to see higher levels of truth. That's what it means to grow spiritually, not to be more spiritual, not to wear more crystals, not to go up and then and play the didgeridoo and stuff and then Lake Athlon and do all that. That's not what it means. You know, to grow spiritually is means to raise into higher levels of truth, right? And learn a method of release so you can release all the things that's attached to the light of your mind that's keeping you in a lower state of being, in a lower state of consciousness. That's how you grow spiritually. And it's beautiful, and everything I teach is, well, how do you do that? And I'm looking at some of these comments. So if y'all got any more questions or comments, y'all can drop them too. Once again, my name is RJ. I love to talk about all things metaphysical. I teach Hermetic alchemy, Hermetic magic, initiation to Hermetic psychic development, magical invocation, Kabbalah, all of the above, how to train your intuition and your psychic abilities. And it's really, really beautiful. Also host, in-person retreats and workshops and spiritual tours. We have one coming up in Sri Lanka in May, and there's still spots open for that. And that's going to be amazing because we're going to be in all 4-star and 5-star retreat centers and hotels and well, resorts, and it's absolutely beautiful. So it's all inclusive too. So breakfast and dinner included, transportation to and from the airport as well as while we're on the island. Everything's included. All you gotta do is just show up. Very, very beautiful. I also have a course, which is the Master Key Psychic Ascension program. Right now, it's 50% off. You can check out the link in the bio. If you have any questions about it, you can drop it. There's plenty of people in the chat right now who are in the course and who have been taking it for a while now. You can ask them their experience. I don't even have to talk about it, and they will tell you themselves. The amount of growth and evolution that you get just by applying yourself. And it's up to you. You get out of it what you put into it, and it's very, very beautiful. And I'm grateful to be able to share this platform and to be able to do what I do. And it's really, really beautiful. So I'm looking at some of these comments. My bad if y'all been waiting for me to respond. Nina Pratt says, I can't believe this is the first time you're on my page. What's this level 7 thing I keep seeing though? I Listen, don't worry about it. I just thought it was funny to make that the title. It says, how do chords actually attach? That is a really great question. Okay, so how do chords actually attach? So anything that we hold space for, anything that we have in an astral affinity towards, that creates a connection, right? So the astral, if you want to conceptualize what the astral is, the astral is a field of consciousness that is sticky. Number one, it contains your thoughts, not just your thoughts, your emotions, your labeling of different things, right? If you love something, if you hate something, that's all. Those are all astral emotional things. And when you label something with an emotion, you create an attachment to it. Like literally, there's the astral chi, an energy and a bridge that you create astrally because you assign a part of your spirit to another thing, and that's your attachment. That's what your attachment is to that thing. It's an energetic bridge between you and another thing. Astral things are really sticky. Your emotions are all astral. This is why when you have a relationship with somebody and it ends, even if it ends horribly, even if you're there for, months or even years, and that person's not a good person and not your person, right? But because you're attached to them astrally, it's really hard to let go of it. Right, and you'd be thinking about them, holding on to them, and you don't want to, you know you're not happy. They know they're not happy, but you're staying together because that attachment is really sticky. It sticks to the light of your mind. And remember what we talked about earlier, everything is living conscious energy. Everything has a spirit. So even that attachment wants to live and will make you feel uncomfortable in order for you to keep giving that attachment expression. Everything that has a physical form, everything that has a form in the physical has an astral aspect to it. Everything, 100% of it, right? And it all wants to survive. It all wants to literally get expression. And you are the bridge that bring things to life in the physical. If it wasn't for your consciousness and this astral thing touching the light of your mind, generating emotions and feelings and labels, and then projecting and giving life to that thing, it would not exist. That's how things manifest. All things manifest in this way. Right. So when we talk about attachments, everything that you experience, there is a part of you that is astrally attached to it. every person, everything, everything. And you can kind of think about it like this too: the things that you have a very strong emotional attachment to, positive or negative, you create a stronger attachment to it. If you're in politics, I stopped being in politics for a very, 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 very long time. But when I was there and I felt really strongly about it, you're in that realm. That realm is really real to you. And you ride or die for that, your beliefs, no matter what side you're on. And because your emotions are so deeply grounded into it, no matter what you believe, that's all you're going to see is exactly what you believe, because your astral ego never wants to be wrong. It's going to prove you right no matter what, whether it's real, whether it's a delusion, right? Whether it's just some BS you just made up, right? If you're really tied to the spaghetti monster, you think the spaghetti monster is helping you heal and save people, you're going to see the spaghetti monster everywhere you go. And then your ego, your astral ego, is going to make sure the spaghetti monster is manifesting in your reality. And all the other people who are also astrally tied to the spaghetti monster, they're going to be your friends and they're going to help perpetuate that spaghetti monster. And that's a literal thing. There's all types of dumb stuff on the internet that people really believe, and all the people else they believe it, and all the information they come and gather and stuff that's not true whatsoever, not even remotely true, because they all believe it. They keep manifesting this this delusion, and everybody's like, "Yeah, that's what's up." What up, Smashalith? How are you doing? But are y'all with me? Y'all get what I'm saying? Can you see this in your experience? We talked about this yesterday when one dude was on here, and I gave him a little bit of my time and space, right? Whatever it is that you believe, you're going to see, no matter what. You can think right now, right here and right now, until the time that you became wise enough to say, hey, maybe everything I believe is true isn't true. Maybe I'm not right about everything, right? Everything that your ego believes to be true, you believe that is true. Do you really think you know everything? Do you think that every bit of data and information, knowledge, fact that you've taken on over the years, I don't care how old you are, if you're 70, 80, 100, and as wise as the great owl and the wizards, if you think that you know it all and everything that you know is 100% true, you've already lost. You've already lost, because it's very clear that everything that you believe is true is not true. So being able to unlearn your truth and being able to receive higher truths and stuff, this is one of the highest levels of wisdom, right? To go through life with I don't know. I don't know. And, astrally, it's important for you to be able to release all of these attachments that we have within our mental body, because that's what binds you into lower realms. Any type of delusional, dualistic light that's attached to your mind puts you in a delusional realm. All of the dualistic realms are realms of delusion. 100% of them. Every one of and one way to figure out if you're in one of the dualistic realms is if it's you versus anybody. If it's your religion versus anybody, your skin color, your ideology versus anybody else, if you're in a dualistic realm, it's us versus them. It's me versus the Matrix. It's whatever thing your thing is. Cops and robbers, Crips and Bloods, whatever your thing is. If you're in one of those realms, you are in a realm of delusion. Literally. All the dualistic realms are realms of delusion. And there's more karma that's attached to it. And this is just a gauge to say, oh, yeah, I feel this way about so and so, or this way about so and so. Yeah, males versus females, it's us versus them. And it's the patriarchy, the matriarchy, and this and that. And it's Republicans and different, like, it's delusion. And I mean this, for the says karma is just a mirror. Yeah, it's a mirror. It's a mirror, and the higher levels are all heading up towards non-dual light layers, where there's very little influx in the layer of light that's vibrating in and out of the akasha. When you see the oneness of all, when you can see God in everything, And everything exists for a reason. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything exists for a reason. People talk about politics. That's also God. All of it, both sides. The whole system, the matrix, everything is all one consciousness. But if you see it as anything else, then you are living in a realm of delusion, right? Now there's karma that comes in it. You can dive into that realm. You can, and at the highest levels, you can go up and down the vibrational scale. I can dip in and talk about politics. Okay, cool. It doesn't mean it's not real in the sense that it's a thing, because everything is a thing. Everything. There's no such thing as non-existence. So everything exists, but delusional things exist too. Things that have negative effects when you attach to things exist, right? So learning to go up and down the vibrational scale. Like I can go up and down. I can go down and listen to some gangster music, which I don't really do anymore. I can watch all the movies or everything else and release my mind from all of it and then be in that non-dual light space and connected to God and everything else. And that's the goal, to be able to do that and not to be completely bound to any of it because it's all one. You know, can't be bound to any of it. And that's the name of the game. Learn how to do that. That's what I teach step by step. I'm looking at some of these other comments. If y'all got any more input, questions, comments when it comes to anything that I've shared thus far, feel free and drop it. I'll try to get to your comments for sure. Once again, my name is RJ. I teach Hermetic Alchemy, Hermetic Magic, psychic development, ascension practices, how to develop your intuition, train your clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, mental transference, how to put your mind in different spaces and different objects, realms, frequencies, energies, invoke different levels of consciousness throughout the vibrational scale, how to become one with God again, and all the above. So that's what we're doing. Like I said, drop your comments. If you haven't hit the follow button, hit the follow button. If you know anybody that could benefit from any of these conversations, feel free and share the live with people that you think may enjoy it. Tap the screen. Let's see how many people we can get in here. So on YT. Art says, question for so I've been having trouble with finances. It's really difficult to come around when I went from. Okay, so the financial thing, right? So there's different levels to finances. And this is actually a subject that I really, really love because it's such an important one for many different reasons. Now, there is a, you know, system level of finances and building structure and businesses and everything else too, but there's also a spiritual aspect to your finances and even your business and generating abundance. And on a universal level, abundance is not the same as on the surface level. It's a completely different thing. But if your greatest issue right now that you're facing is of a financial nature, and you're living, in a regular, close to like 3D life and still doing your practices and everything else, it's important that you, look at, spiritually, what is your relationship with what you're doing and where you're going? Because sometimes we get in positions where everything's not flowing because we're not in alignment with our divine path when it comes to that. Something that you may be engaged in may be stopping you from generating more abundance in the realm that you're in because it may be contradictory to you getting to where you need to be. Right. So that's like one aspect to kind of look at. If you don't think that's the case, then, you know, we kind of talked about this earlier. A certain tuning forks you can begin to set up so that you're training your subconscious mind, your intuition to see more opportunities because that's how our subconscious mind works anyway. Anything you pay attention to, anything that you hold space for, and anything that you put value towards, especially astrally, that bridge creates a type of magnetism for that thing. So one of the proper relationships when it comes to money is that, you know, understanding that it can come from anywhere, right? And we talked about this a little earlier. I'm gonna repeat it again. So when it comes to finances too, if you believe that it can only come from this one stream, it can only come from my job and that's it, right? It can only come from my employer. I have no other way for me to make money or, to experience abundance or anything like that. And that's it. In Kabbalah, they say that's idolatry. You are now saying that your job or even your business, right, is the only way that God has to give you your abundance, or that not even that is the God of your abundance, is that one pathway. That's why they say it's idolatry. You're basically idolizing this thing, this entity, and saying that this entity is responsible for your abundance and your well-being, right? So even in your mind, in your astral body, your soul, right? It's a part of you that blocks out the whole equation and your connection to the all, right? So once you begin to make that change, okay, cool. Well, I'm open to it coming from anywhere, especially when you start to engage your spiritual path, because the way that you made money previously, it will begin to shift and change like entirely. For instance, when you start to activate your abilities and tap into your higher self, once again your consciousness shifts completely. Your relationship to money shifts completely. The things that you value begins to shift completely, right? So the way that you make money also begins to shift completely. In my personal experience, like I said, I've had many businesses before, and houses, cars, kids, all the alls, right? And like I said, I played video games for a living before, on the virtual reality arcade, did music for a living, sold jewelry for a living, did all types of stuff, right? And right now, you know, after following my path and being completely dedicated to my path for years and years and sharing that with other people so they can get the benefit, right now I use my gifts. My gifts is the gift to be able to transmit higher knowledge and wisdom to people in a easily digestible way for them to understand and turn it into practical functional knowledge to elevate the quality of their life. And it's the most fulfilling and greatest thing that I've ever done. I'm not rich by any means. And I take that back. I am. I'm highly abundant. I'm able to travel the world. I'm able to see beautiful things without a worry whatsoever. I don't have a bunch of money. I don't worry about money. But my relationship to it is different. And that's my personal relationship. Yours won't be the same because you got other stuff. Like for me, my spiritual life and my personal life are the same. My spiritual life, my personal life, my career is all one thing, and not everybody's going to have that. But that's my relationship to it, right? So it's a level of seeing where you're at. If a part of you is, you still got to deal with the 3D world, right? So you have to cultivate that and cultivate the spiritual part of it too. You have to make sure that your relationship to finances, know that it can come from anywhere. And when you're engaging in your business, whatever your business is, make sure that your business is for the benefit of those people who you serve, or whatever that your thing is that you're doing. If you're doing it for somebody else, make sure that, even in your spirit, that that's your intention, that you're open to, putting your spirit, your magic, your blessings into everything that you do. And it could be something simple. You don't have to teach magic and alchemy. You don't have to be a healer. You don't have to be a therapist. You don't have to do any of that. You can be a painter. And I'm not talking about an artist. You can paint houses, and you can put magic and love into every single house you paint, and the universe will bless you tremendously. I mean that. And sometimes we're meant to go through, experiences when we don't have it all, in order for you to sit down so you can sit and reflect and begin to reorganize your thoughts and feelings, and just your trajectory of where you want to go in your life, you know? And this is part of it too. We all have our divine abundance, and our divine abundance don't look like what most people think it looks like. Even abundance on its own is like, you know, it's not always monetarily, but it's being able to do what you need to do when it's time to do it. No questions asked. It gets taken care of, and it can come from anywhere, in many different ways, and looking at that. But just know that you'll always be taken care of if you do want to to accumulate and build wealth and build, your empire, your estate, then it's things you have to align to for that too. And once again, if you're just doing it for you, that energy becomes real contracted and then stagnant, right? But if you're doing it for the benefit of all the people who you're going to help along the way, if you're doing it for the benefit of your children, your children's children, if you're doing it for the benefit of the people that they're going to help, and you're instilling all of that energy into the things you do and know that it will be projected into not just you, but your children, their children's children, and they will go on to help benefit all the people that they're going to touch, then I guarantee you things will start to shift. Your consciousness will start to shift. Your connections, your business network, the people that you bring into your life, those things will begin to shift because you're not just doing it just for you. You're doing it for the benefit of those other people. And you know that your abundance is not just coming from the act in which you're doing right now. It's going to manifest through many different ways. But simply because you're doing it for the benefit of others, right? Then those others begin to hold more time and space for you. You begin to occupy space in their consciousness and in their reality. And then your manifestations begin to, manifest through them. They begin to create vessels for you, right? So it's a science to it. It's a literal science to it. And once again, there's sometimes that, we need to get to a space where, okay, cool, I don't have it. I need to sit my butt down because I'm so used to running around and doing A and B, and then priorities might not be right. You know, I know in my personal experience, like it's all types of things. Like I've always been, at the edge of evolution. Started mining Bitcoin and stuff back in like '09. Didn't stick with it, but part of that was like, if I would have done it then, I wouldn't be who I am now. If I would have really stuck to it and then saved everything and not sold it, then I wouldn't be who I am now. I wouldn't be the person who could be a steward of it and appreciate it and never, because I did some horrible things in my life. I was not the greatest person. I ain't never been like a horrible person, but I haven't always been who I am now. And because I've been in the situations I'm in now, financially, mentally, emotionally, right? In all these different, ways that are perfect, and I mean, they're perfect. I don't question any of them. The good, the bad, the traumatic, dark night of the soul, everything. These are things that made me who I am today because I'm on this path and I needed to go through those things in order for me to reach this destination in which I'm on now. And now it's time to build. But once again, there's a lawfulness to it. And you can even set up the way that you relate to it. I suggest for everybody that whatever your path is, whether you're seeking to be on like a hermit path and kind of stick to yourself, or if you're trying to build an empire, you want to help all the people along the way, whatever it is, make sure that you do it in love and that you do it with fun. Whatever your thing is, you should never get to the point in life whatsoever where you can't smile and laugh with the people around you, no matter what you're doing, no matter what it is that you're doing. I don't care who you are, how many followers you got, how much money you got, whatever pedestal people put you on. You should never get to any point in your life, no matter how much trauma, drama, death is around you. You should never get to the point in which you still can't crack a smile and laugh and have fun, because that will get you a million times further than having a stick up your butt. And I mean that. And once again, if you align yourself to doing what you're doing for the benefit of others, the universe will bless you tremendously. I mean that. They don't make movies and then statues and then dedications to people that only do things for themselves at all. And the more that you do those things for the benefit of others, once again, they begin to hold space for you. And you begin to manifest in their reality and their thoughts, feelings, and actions and stuff that they need to, experience and go through to help you manifest the things that you want to manifest. It comes together. It's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. So I don't even know if I answered your question, Art. I hope I gave you some insight. Let me know how y'all feel about that too, and everybody on TikTok, Feel free to say, hey, if this is your first time, joining me, drop it in the comments. Let me know where you're from. My name is RJ. I teach Hermetic alchemy, Hermetic magic, self-mastery practices, ascension, psychic development, magical invocation, Kabbalah. All these things is really, really powerful. If you would like to learn, you can check out the link in my bio. There's a link in there right now. The Master Key course is 50% off, and it's really, really beautiful. We have a app with video libraries. There's hundreds of videos. I do weekly group Zoom meetings on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you sign up now, you can get instant access to all the videos, all the content, the group Zoom meetings, and it's beautiful. You start practicing, first week, you'll see huge benefit. You keep practicing, and especially if you hold it sacred to you, 2 weeks, you see more benefit. A month later, life will look different. I mean, literally, the colors will be more vibrant. You'll be more happier, more synchronicities, more resonance in your experience, and it's a really, really beautiful thing. 6 months from now, you'll be in a whole different realm. And this progression that you begin to go through, and you begin to elevate your quality of life, and you can train your subconscious mind, train your intuition. Your intuition is your connection to your divinity. It means to learn from within and above. It's literally your divine connection to your higher self, to your God self, your guardian angel, whatever you would like to call it. The essence of who and what you are that's connected to infinite intelligence. And it's a very, very beautiful process. In it, we go through different energy work practices, qigong, how to feel your vital life force and energy, how to transform that energy into astral chi, how to become aware of your astral body, how to purify your astral body. Your astral body is literally what people call your soul. Your mental body is the equivalent to what people say is your spirit. So you're purifying your astral body, all your attachments, and then all the icky stuff that you got from society and from the collective consciousness and from your environment and from religion and society and stuff that's just not true. You begin to purify that, and your karma, your experience begins to kind of streamline, you know, to your divine purpose. And it's really, really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. So if you're interested, you can check out the link in my bio. It is 50% off right now. It's the Master Key Psychic Ascension program. You sign up, you get an email with the link to the Discord, to my book Alchemy of a Happy Life, to the app you can download and have access to all the videos, and to the group Zoom meetings as well. If you have any questions about that, feel free to drop it. Once again, if this is your first time with me, let me know in the comments. Let me know where you're from. Drop a 1 in the comments, and I'm going to read some of these comments for a little bit. And I think I'll be on here maybe another 10 minutes or so. So speak now, forever hold your peace. um, and I apologize for anybody's comments that I didn't read. um, Kuzi says, "I need info on a specific topic. Go ahead and ask if you have a lot of questions. Feel free, and yeah, you can book a one-on-one." So Say says, "You say growing up, mystical experiences were normal. How did your worldview change post nomad experience?" Or monad. Okay, so for me, right, so to give everybody some background on me, for those of you that may not have seen me before or just now coming in contact with me. So for me, I've always had mystical, magical experiences since I was little. Seeing lots of ghosts and spirits and phantasms and UFOs and then all types of weird stuff. Fireballs going through the sky. I mean, like, this was like a normal part of my my childhood. This is something that happened very, very often. And for me, I just thought it was normal, even growing up and connecting to the air element and being one with the consciousness of air, like and controlling it and working with it and everything else, like that was just normal to me. But I didn't look at it as like a supernatural thing. It was just, this is what life was for me. But after growing up and having a family and being in the 3D world even more, you start to lose some of that. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, this is mystic talk for everybody that's in here. I'm sure a lot of you have had lots of mystical, magical experiences, some of which you probably blocked out. because you're dealing with all the different stresses and stuff of just everyday life. We block some of that stuff out. Some of the stuff could be traumatic. I remember, like, me and my sister was freaking out. It was this I in my room. It was this being there was a being of light. It was really, really bright. You could see it and waving around and stuff. There's nothing else upstairs. The door is shut. And it scared the mess out of us, right? And like some of that stuff could be traumatic, and we take some of these skills that we've developed in past lifetimes, and they come with us, from those past lifetimes. And when we experience something traumatic, sometimes we just block them out and we kind of disconnect ourselves from that. So, growing up when I got older, I didn't have as many, like, especially in my like mid 20s, going into my early 30s. You know, I would have mystical experiences still, and still have like ghosts and stuff pop up on me, but it wasn't like, even then it wasn't like this deep profound thing. To me it was just normal. Like, I remember I lived in Elkhart in Indiana, and then we bought this house, and this house was built in like 1902. It was already 100 and like 12 years old when we moved in. And we moved into this house, it was already creepy. They had lace curtains on all the on all the windows and stuff. It was a big house too. It was like 2,700 square feet, 3 stories, like 5 rooms, and it's just super duper old but beautiful house, right? And one of the second week I was in this house, I just remember, the family went into the van and we were about to leave. And I'm walking past my daughter's room and I see like this it looked like the neighborhood watch sign, like a shadow figure with the hat on. And like very, very clearly I see him. I step back and I look and like, what the hell was that? All right, so whatever. I walk, I go out, the family's waiting for me in the van. I get in the van and my daughter's like out of nowhere, like, Daddy, have you seen the Shadow Man? And I was like, at first I was like, well, yeah. Like stuff like that would happen, right? And this was very, very clear. I remember being in the same house and I'm just in the kitchen. There's nobody around me. There's literally nothing around me whatsoever. And I just feel something just rub against the side of my body, like from the side of my my stomach all the way down to my thigh, like very, very clearly. And for me, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. That was weird. It was another night, like maybe like a year or two after we lived. I lived in this house for like 10 years. Um, like a year or two after so hold on. After living in this house, I just remember I was laying in bed one night and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And my ex-wife asked me, she was like, can you go get me something to drink? I'm like, oh, I got you. I was gonna go down there and grab something anyway. So I go downstairs and I cut on the kitchen light, and next thing you know, I hear footsteps in the living room. And these are very, very clear. There's nobody downstairs. I hear footsteps in the living room. And the footsteps don't go, like, the footsteps go from, so I'm the layout so it's the kitchen here, and it's the kitchen, it's the dining room, and then it's the living room. And then from the living room, it's like a formal dining room and then the foyer, right? So the doors to the formal dining room and the foyer, they're closed. So the only way to get into the living room is from the dining room where I'm at. I hear footsteps go from where the doors are closed to the other end of the living room. I got the light on. I look in there. There's nothing in there. I looked up under the couch. I'm like, maybe it's like a rodent or something. I don't know. And it's very, very clear. Don't you know, I walked away, cut the light off. I heard the same footsteps go in the opposite direction. I was like, what the hell was that? And then for me, like, I'm used to like ghosts and paranormal stuff happening. So I went, got in bed, and and then she asked me, like, what happened? I told her, I was like, she's like, are you gonna do something about it? I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna go to sleep. What are you supposed to do with that? So like stuff like that has always happened, and I mean like some really interesting things, and not just that, even like growing up, like one of my best friends growing up, James, he ended up being schizophrenic. So he could see and talk to, ghosts and demons and all types of stuff too. He didn't know how to handle it very well. But having those experiences and going through that with him was like, it was really, really interesting. And once I got older and went through my spiritual awakening, right, even beyond that, and I've shared my story with a lot of you. Like one of the first times I meditated, left my body, touched monad, and then standing over the cosmos, having this experience where you talk to God. And ever since that day, I could see spirits again, but even more. I can see the spirits of everything, of the trees, the spirits that are within the life force of the trees, the dragons and stuff everywhere. And when it happened and it got to that level and I could feel my energy and stuff again, it was like it was profound, but it was normal. It wasn't like, oh my God, I have this new superpower type thing. It was just like, oh yeah, I remember this. It's good to be back, and then it's going on from there, and it's really, really beautiful, to be able to do that. And, ever since then, it's been my goal, my path to help people tap into that same level of awareness, within their self. Well, you can activate your abilities and once again form a life around your abilities, and because that's what we're here for, to get to know yourself, to know yourself and to develop yourself so you can be a light unto yourself and then share that with the people who you love and the people that you are of service to, and it's beautiful. So my abilities are rapidly expanding lately. Do you have any protection, spiritual boundary advice? um yeah, I think I'll post a video of the building your spirit protection, but there's a couple skills you need to do to do it right. Um, the best way to protect yourself, if you don't have high level Akashic skills, the very best way to do it is deity yoga. Associate yourself with a protective deity. And I only really suggest the Buddhist deities. Saint Michael's cool too if you're like Catholic or Christian and you want to connect to Saint Michael. I don't think Saint Michael. So the thing about the protective deities is you have to have a energetic bridge for them to actually protect you. A lot of people call him Saint Michael and they got demons all around them, even though you see him with a he's stomping on the demon's head with a sword and everything else. Um, but doing like some of the energy work and creating energetic bridges and even allowing those protective layers of consciousness to use your life force to protect you, that's the most powerful way to protect yourself. A lot of people say, oh, just my ancestors got me and my spiritual. No, it don't work that way, because you need protection from whatever layer in which you are, not protected on. And your ancestors only got so much, they're on a certain level. Some of the protective deities are kind of, outside the vital, going into the astral levels, and then that's where you need the most protection anyway. Anything above that is more so like thought forms and higher levels of light. That's more in union with you more than anything else. You know, and even when it comes to Saint Michael, like most of the archangels are like beings of the sun sphere, which is all like mental. So when it comes to like literal, lower level demons and stuff that's in your experience, Saint Michael might not be able to help you. But once again, I always suggest the Buddhist deities because, just like Say says, there's no checks and balances. If you connect to any of the bodhisattvas or the beings in Buddhism, they all take the bodhisattva vow, where they don't do what they do in order for you to owe them anything. It's literally to help liberate and to benefit everybody who's seeking to grow and liberate themselves. So just by connecting to a protective deity, negative beings will just leave you alone. One of the primary ones that I work with is Fudo Myo. His name is Akala in Hinduism, or Akala, same thing. In Japanese Buddhism and Shingon Buddhism, he's known as Fudo Myo. Some people say Fudo Mayu. and he's known as one of the five wisdom kings. His name literally means the immovable wisdom king. So through connecting with him, you gain an immovable mind, right? And also deep level of wisdom and protection. And when you see him, he has Akashic flames and stuff behind him. He has a sword, he has a noose, and literally just by associating yourself with them, negative beings will stay away from you. I've seen people that have literal demons surrounding them and in their awareness, and they will literally just leave you alone. There's way too many other people that don't have spiritual protection for them to mess with. um, even just going into some of the Buddhist light gives you a deep level of protection, because the Buddhist light is very, very strong, and they've documented all the different realms, and the system of Buddhism, it is in every realm through the entire vibrational scale. So you gain this really deep type of bodhisattva shield, and light that protects you from a lot of different things coming into your awareness. The more you dive deep into non-duality and get out of the dualistic realms, the realms of angels and demons battling and good and bad, and I gotta fight the matrix and the devil and all this other stuff. Once you get out of those lower delusional realms, you'll never run into like, crazy demons and dark spirits and entities and stuff like that. You'll only be subject to, the people that you're open to and the things that you allow in your level of consciousness. Other than that, you have to like do something stupid to allow something else into your awareness. Um, but those are the most powerful ways to protect yourself. So you got to master frequency, yeah, for sure. You can only connect to beings that you are vibrational matched to. you know. Once again, if you want to go deeper, you can check out the link in the bio. But you're most definitely welcome. You are welcome. Once again, shout out to everybody that's in here. If you have not hit the follow button, hit the follow button. I'm going to sip my tea. I made this tea. How long I've been streaming? For an hour and 40 minutes. I'd take like 4 sips of it, none of which were on camera. Mm. And it's so good. I got that from Sri Lanka too. It's one of my new favorite things. The Sri Lankan tea, amazing, absolutely amazing. I got to send some out to a couple of people too. um, William W, are you still in here? This is actually chai. My favorite is actually just Sri Lankan black tea, which is some of the best tea on earth. Like seriously, it's so good. But this is black chai from Sri Lanka. I spent most of this year there so far. But really, really good. Um, is it possible to heal yourself from cancer? It is. It's very possible. It's very, very, very possible to heal yourself from cancer, and there's a lawfulness to it. Anything could be healed. Now, when it comes to yourself, you can heal yourself of literally anything. Some things you might be overly attached to and need like somebody else to be the conduit to help you through it. But being aware and being willing to release whatever it is that allowed that thing to come into your experience is necessary, because a lot of things that come into our life, like say if you get lung cancer and you smoke cigarettes every day and you're still smoking cigarettes and you have lung cancer, nobody can come and heal you of that lung cancer until you learn a lesson to stop smoking cigarettes. Some things are karmic. Some things are completely karmic in our experience. Sometimes we're supposed to be, sick or put on our butt for a little bit in order for us to get the lessons that we came here to learn. And it's up to us to, get those lessons as quickly as possible, to listen and to, take heed. Some things come into our experience that's not ours. Um, Good night, Art. Peace. I hope I answered your question. I didn't see if you responded or not. But some things that we're subject to is not ours at all. You can be in the wrong place, wrong time. You can become, um, you know, you can become influenced by just being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and those things are really easy to heal from. Like anybody can heal you from that. Like a beginner Reiki practitioner can come in and heal you from that. Oh my God, it's amazing! It's because it's not yours. Other things come into our experience because it's directly related to us. So actually, it's my dog. He has bone cancer. I want to help him. Um, so when it comes to stuff like that too, like I said, anything can be healed, but the person's body or the being's body has to be able to facilitate that healing as well. Now, I have seen literal miracles happen. I've seen things come back to life, like literally. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility for many things to happen. Um, some things are literal miracles. If you have somebody close to you that's trained in high level energy work, they may be able to do that. And if the dog's body is able to sustain that and facilitate that healing, then it will happen. If they're able to, even gather a bunch of energy from the trees, primarily when it comes to like healing cancer. Remember, everything has a consciousness. And if you can, find somebody who's able to tune into the mental body of the consciousness of the cancer, and they can demagnetize the mental and astral matrix from the consciousness of the cancer, and move it out of the body, then the astral and the physical aspects of the cancer have nothing to fuel it, and it will literally go away. But that's if the dog's body can facilitate that healing and growing back. So, like I say, anything is possible. Literally, anything could be healed. And I mean, like in every respect, but the person's body has to be able to facilitate it because even as a energy healer or a metaphysician, you're not actually doing the healing. You are helping facilitate it, but the person, they're on their own. They're the ones that have to actually do the healing, if that makes sense. So I'm just putting that out there. If you like to learn how to do high level healing like that and to demagnetize the mental and astral matrix of things, by all means, once again, check the link in the bio. This is why we're here. Right now, it's 50% off, and Saturday we're actually doing a recap. So if you want to go step by step, this is the correct way to practice and follow the videos and everything else. So there'll be Q&A, and we're going to go super deep into it. As well. If anybody's interested in joining, once again, it's 50% off. We could also do payment plans and stuff like that if you're interested in practicing. We have weekly group Zoom meetings at 9 a.m. We have video libraries. You get a copy of my book, Alchemy of a Happy Life. If you sign up, you'll get an email with the link to the Discord as well, which I think the link to the Discord is also in the link in the bio. So you can sign up for that. We got a whole beautiful community of practitioners, many of which are in this live right now. So if you want to ask their opinion and then their experience, they will tell you. I don't even have to speak anything about it. I'll just let the work speak for itself. Um, so yeah, so um, looking at this as, have you ever healed cancer through quantum healing? Yes, I have. Um, any advice on folks that need to touch, hug, shake your hand, or wear or steal your clothes? Wow. um, Keep working with that EK formula in Kabbalah, and then let me know how that comes out. Looking at some of these other comments. Yeah, I'm not going too far back. So, any other questions or anything before I sign off? It is 11:11. I'm getting up at a little bit before sunrise to go to the hot spring in the morning. Um, so you can speak now, forever hold your peace. So I've been a silent viewer while taking out my braids. Appreciate your knowledge. You're welcome, man. Thank you. I hope you hit the follow button. If for those of y'all in here, if you haven't hit the follow button, hit the follow button. If there's anything you would like to see, anything else you would like to know, feel free. You can drop comments in here. Go through some of the videos, check out the energy exercises in the videos. It's really, really powerful. You want to wake up your spirit senses and psychic abilities. We go step by step. Exactly. This is how you do it. There's tons of benefit from it. Life changing things. It's really, really beautiful. If you have any questions, once again, you can message me, and we'll go from there. Other than that, I hope you all have a very blessed and beautiful night. I will do a blessing. If anybody would like to accept this blessing, um, all you have to do is just be open to receiving it. This blessing is going to be for purification, mentally, purification astrally, right? For anything that's stuck to you that's not yours, that you didn't welcome in on your own accord with pure intention to be purified, for you to, see things more clearer, and even a level of protection from things in your environment that may be stopping you from your your highest path, your highest ideals, and the things you seek to achieve. So in order to accept this, easiest way to accept this is just be in a state of openness, right? Don't go to Cozy Halloween treat sale. What in the world? Terry Ann, group seven. Yeah, this is my group seven blessing. All right, so just think of a very, very happy time in your life, right? And the first thing that comes to your mind, and feel how your heart center begins to kind of open up and then relax, and you're in this like this still type of stateness and then type of bliss. Just stay open like that. And if you want to receive this, receive it. All right, how's everybody doing? How was that? And feel free, you can share your experience if you would like. Um, People always have really interesting experiences. At the very least, most people say, I feel lighter, and that's all that matters. All the things that we hold on to and that we accumulate through just being in different environments and different stresses and stuff. These are energies we start to take on, and literally makes us feel, heavier. There denser levels of light and energy that attach to the light of our mind and our spirit and our emotions and everything. And when you begin to purify that and release that, yeah, you feel lighter. Your mind feels clearer and lighter. Your emotions, your physical body feels clearer and lighter. Some people have like really interesting experiences. Some people see, all types of energies and lights. Some people leave their body. Some people see their spirit animals and their ancestors. It's really, really intense for some people. Other people, no, I just feel lighter. And that's all that matters, whatever your experience is, you know. Says I feel even more ready to process some layers of grief I've been sitting with. Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm grateful to be able to provide that. If you would like to learn how to do it yourself, and go really deep into hermetic alchemy and how to release and transform energies, even transforming stuff up into light and being able to do it within yourself and within other people. Once again, check out the link in the bio. Right now, the course is 50% off. Saturday morning, we're doing like an introduction session for everybody. So it's a perfect time to join. You get year-long access. We have an app. You get a copy of my book, Alchemy of a Happy Life. Access to the Discord. We have a beautiful community, and this is really, really powerful. So once again, thank everybody for chilling with me. I'm going on 2 hours now. I'm grateful for you guys as well. So have a very, very, very blessed and beautiful rest of your night. I look forward to seeing some of you in the Zoom meeting. So how much is the class on Saturday? So I don't do the individual classes. I do it. You sign up. You can do. A payment plan if you would like. If you don't want to pay the whole thing, I know that it's 50% off right now, so it's like 333 or something like that. Might be a little bit more because I think the price got raised, but it's 50% of what it was before. It's a year-long thing, so you have access to all the videos and then the classes and stuff for a whole year, and there's lots of content, but you also have support. You have a support system. You have other people who are actual practitioners as well that you can converse with and then share your information with. They have their own meditation classes and study groups and stuff as well. It's super powerful. So I don't really do it per class. You sign up for it and you get access to everything. So if that interests you, once again, you can message me directly. So it's definitely more value than the average college course. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Very, very high value. And it's life changing. And the more that you're dedicated to your own personal growth, the more you get out of it. The more sacred that you treat it, the faster everything just elevates. And it's beautiful. And practicing with the group, you get your evolution, that much faster too. The amount of growth that you get from doing practices with the group is something that you cannot do on your own. So especially if you're practicing with a lot of high level practitioners that's been developing Akasha and light and working through releasing and transforming all their astral energies and everything else and their psychic abilities, like the amount of growth that you get just working with a group of developed practitioners, you'll get decades worth of growth like in a very, very short amount of time. It's really, really beautiful. And that's why I created this course, this community. It's why we do the in-person workshops and retreats and tours and stuff, because everybody helps everybody else grow. And it's really, really beautiful. So if that interests you, once again, you can check out the link in the bio. It's really, really beautiful. If you would like to set up a payment plan, that's available. To shoot me a message here as well, because it's not all about the money. If you earnestly want to be a part of it and develop yourself, I'm here for it. So just shoot me a message. Other than that, I hope you all have a very, very blessed and beautiful rest of your night. What up, Ose? Says much love, bro. It's been a while since I've seen your content. Hope you're getting closer and closer to your highest. Oh, of course, it's been nonstop. It's been nonstop. I've been posting a lot more on TikTok than anything else. So if you want to see a lot of the newer content, it's all in the course. Like most of the content is in the course. All the deep practices and everything is inside the course. There's some things on TikTok, but all the deep stuff is on there. It says please upload this live to your YouTube. I think I can save it on here. So we'll see. We'll see. Other than that, everybody have a blessed and beautiful night, and I'll see y'all later. Okay.